Hey all, welcome to this video. In this, we'll basically learn what it will take for building an agentic AI system. With that, let's begin. So let's say you want to build a product in which you want to take the capability of an LLM model to more than just a text generation, to actually understand the environment and to take action upon it, right? So for that, what it will take, how the framework will look like, that is something we'll be exploring in today's video. So in most of the cases, you might have used platforms such as ChatGPT or Google Gemini in your day-to-day work. It can be for many different reasons, right? It can be maybe like for generating your email better, or maybe like understanding a document and getting a summary out of it, or maybe like generating your code or understanding a piece of code. There are many different places where you can use them. But if you look at it at its core, it is more like a intelligent chatbot where as a human you will be giving a specific problem or a query to this AI system, and behind the scene this AI system has like a LLM model which is very well trained on a given world of data, and it can understand your query better and it will give like a text-based responses. When obviously yes, with today's AI system it can also do audios and videos, but let's say this LLM model, it is very good at generating the responses. But for our case, we want to extend this capability, right? Where we want to build a product that can think upon it, that can reason, and that can act whatever it thinks the best on a given environment. So when you think and put all these things together, you can do something as simple as like a while loop, which will basically iterate until its given goal is done. Also remember, whenever you're building an agent, you're always building that for a specific goal in mind, right? Also remember that this LLM model, it is not up to date. It is trained on all the past data. So you want to give the current facts and the details on where it is operating on, right? Then this LLM has to decide on what is the next best possible path, right? And for that, obviously you need to pass the environment along with the LLM model, right? And once it is able to, take that action on the given environment, then we basically will observe and we will check if the given goal is met or not, right? Let's say a very simple example, you want to read a complete document and you want to get a summary out of it and you want to generate an email out, right? So for that, like maybe like in the first iteration, it will read the document, get the summary, and maybe like in the second iteration, it will go ahead and it will send out an email, right? So it will basically execute until all the given conditions are met. Now, let's say you want to extend this to a product, right? What will be the things required? So at very first step, you need to have like a framework, because you'll be not writing like a simple while loop every single time, right? And when you look at the framework, these are the questions that you need to address first. If you're building the agent for a specific purpose, you want to know what this agent is supposed to do, right? Then you want to know where you can pass in the current facts about the environment, right? Then obviously you need to weigh that it can think about the next step and then how it can act upon it, and if in case it needs some level of human assistance, how it can communicate that information back and forth through a channel, right? And when you think about solving them, at very first step, if you want to pass on the information of what this agent is supposed to be doing, you'll be doing that through instructions and also which we call it as prompts, right? And next, for getting the current state of the environment and also passing in the data, we'll be using context grounding, right? Now, obviously, for doing the reasoning, there will be always like a LLM model, and after that, in order to take action, you can be using something like APIs, or if you want to interact through like a front-end layer, you will be developing your RPA bots, and all this will be passing through like a tools for the agent. And finally, for like passing on to some information back to a human and getting the feedback and approval for that is something you can build like a UI layer. And most of the cases you want to do it through like a low code experience, right? So when you put all these things together in practice, right? So then you'll be able to achieve an agentic AI system, right? So in a summary, you will always have like a LLM model, which will be like a brain for this agent to do the work. Then using instruction and prompt, you basically have this agent to do only a specific task of work. You'll be limiting its boundary and also you'll be defining what it is supposed to do, right? And using context rounding, you'll basically limit its information to an environment and the current facts about the agent, right? So using tools, you'll basically give like an arm to this robot on how it can directly act upon the application. And finally, through like a human in the loop or like a UI layer, it will communicate its information to a user and get their approval if needed, right? So these are the major components that builds an agentic AI system, right? And behind the scene, there will be like a looping mechanism, or we can call it as like a advanced algorithm that will basically decide on the iteration on what it has to, do next and when it can come out of the loop, or it is taken care by the algorithm, which uses again the LLM capability. So all this is in a nutshell about how we can build a complete agentic system. I hope that this video was helpful to you and thank you for watching.